Donald Trump wants to scrap the Income Tax Act of 1913. And this is very major. So if you're living in the United States, listen up because you're going to have a lot more money in your pockets. Now, on this channel, we used to refer to it as the Great Tariff Wall of America. What is the Great Tariff Wall of America? Back in the late 1800s, there was a big tariff wall in America. So if you wanted to sell stuff to America, you had to pay high tariffs, right? If you were another country and you wanted to sell, let's say, gasoline, or you wanted to sell petroleums, or you wanted to sell clothing or toys, you had to pay a high tariff to sell your stuff in the United States. And why was this? Well, Americans are going to pay more for imports. That makes no sense. It makes perfect sense because it protects domestic industries. And what happens when you protect domestic industries? The country will continue to fabricate, produce, and export themselves, right? And this way, they could buy things that are locally made. And hence, one little tidbit of information that a lot of people don't know, that from basically the late 1800s and into the early 1900s, 1 out of 3 things in the world was made in America at that time. So a lot of other countries wanted American-made goods. So America made good on that, right? Then you got other stuff like retaliatory tariffs that we're seeing. And retaliatory tariffs is what the United States of America wants to do today to Canada, and basically wants Canada to be in line and follow policy and do things the right way. And you could get into my Canada tariffs, the whole thing, other videos that we made. So what does this mean? It's going to hack a ton of public sector jobs. You're going to see a lot of government jobs be hacked because there's a lot of employment surrounding the Income Tax Act, where they have federal agents, even armed agents, that would come and tell you that we want the money, we want to, basically, we want our money from your labor, right? And the funny thing is, and we've been very, very vocal about this for the last 15 years on this channel, is that they're taxing you on your labor. You're going out, you're going to work to pay your way, to feed your family, to take care of business, and they're taxing your labor. That is the most pathetic thing. And President Woodrow Wilson in 1913 instilled the Income Tax Act, and he instilled the Federal Reserve Act, which basically buried Americans financially. It destroyed the American way and the American dream. And I think Donald Trump dissolving the Income Tax Act would be huge for America, right? It'd be enormous because it will put more money in Americans' pockets. It would make America great again. So if he's doing these kind of things, Canada, we are screwed in Canada. 67% of everything we make goes to the government. Everything we make. I referenced a video that we made in 2009 where you got to pay X amount of dollars in tax on your fuel. Then you got to pay X amount of dollars of tax or tax on per dollar you spend. You have to pay 30-40% income tax on your check. Then you got to pay extra percentage on this tax when you buy this, and you have to pay an extra percentage on this tax when you buy that. So 67% of what you make just goes straight out to taxation. Canada's screwed. Canada built its economy off taxation and enslaving their citizens, and it's gotten worse, and they've taken advantage of us. America is seeing this, and America's laughing because all America has to do is put in embargoes. But Mike, Americans are going to have to pay more for their stuff. Nah, 99% of all food could be produced in America that exists in the world, could be made in America by American jobs, by locals. 99% of automotive parts and all that stuff could be fabricated and made in America. They can even make aftermarket. They don't have to make exact Honda parts. It doesn't have to come in from Japan or Taiwan or China. They could just make aftermarket in America. This creates more incentive to basically protect the domestic, just to protect domestic jobs. And then you'll see America just making all kinds of stuff, rubber bands, plastic bags, and they're going to go back to the late 1800s. Now, this great tariff wall that we were talking about, America was so rich because of it. I think we covered this on Trends in the Housing Market back in 2014, where we had a segment about the great tariff wall and how America became so rich that it had to hire people to figure out what to do with its money. And that's what started the kickoff to build the American infrastructure that we see today. A lot of it was funded through tariffs that were imported into the United States of America. Now, America needs to get on its toes and start producing, start making everything, even if it's going to be made from scratch. Because I promise you, it'll leave more money in Americans' pockets. Americans will pay slightly more for some things, but they'll have more money because they're not being taxed to death. Good luck, America. God bless America. I love you guys. I'll see you on the flip side. Mike Martins here. I have spoken.